Welcome to the Realms of Power podcast. My name is Dr. Tony Rudd, and I will be running a series of podcasts to really look at inspiring people to turn their true aligned power on. Now, we will call that turning your tap on, and I'm going to share a story about myself, and also one of my main visions is to have a whole bunch of people help share their power story of how they improve their power in a different area of their life. And that might inspire you to turn your true power on. There's a real difference between turning your true aligned power on and creating a false power, an improvement in your energy, an improvement in your current status versus your true inner being. And that's the purpose of these podcasts. Now, you might ask, well, why would I want to turn my true power on? So the four things I think people would really resonate with when they talk about turning their true aligned power or turning their tap on is to really be more authentic. If we are not living our true life, if we are tolerating things, if we are putting up with other stuff and doing something that we were told to do to make money or to do something else, we're not really being truly authentic. So the first part is to be more authentic, and that really leads to being able to do what you love doing. If you're doing what you love doing, it's just easy. There's an ease and a grace. If you're doing something because you have to do it, well, that's a lot harder. And of course, sometimes in our life, there are things we have to do. But if you are being really authentic and doing the things you love doing, that really allows you to have more ultimate freedom. And I think a lot of people do feel stuck in their life. They're bigger picture questions. Why am I here? What am I doing? And the smaller things might be just freedom to make a decision of what you want to eat, what movie you want, where you want to go that day. That freedom is beautiful. It's an amazing experience to have that freedom. And the fourth one then is really never needing to work again. I think so much of us in our current lives in the Western world are stuck in a loop of working, paying taxes, paying off the mortgage, buying stuff we probably don't need, and maybe get that short little burst of freedom in a holiday. Or some people have just made it. They've done really well, and others find that they've just struggled all the way through. So if you never needed to work again and could just, love what you're doing, sure, you might well be getting paid for that, or you've created financial freedom in a way that your assets and created cash flow that are building up enough for what you really truly desire for yourself and for the people around you. And the more financial freedom you have, of course, the more you can help others. So those four things is really what I'm going for in the realms of power. Now, as a chiro for 25 years, I've helped turn people's power on that physical level, on the nervous system level, by aligning their mind-body connection or their spine to really connect better. And if it's connecting, you do have your power on. I've seen muscle testing, I've seen pain reduction, I've seen increase in mobility and function in that realm of power over many years. I've also, for 17 years, been supporting real workshops where we are literally trying to help people become more authentic. And as one of the crew and one of the leaders in that crew, I've helped train crew and facilitate amazing workshops where people are getting massive breakthroughs in turning their power on. Whether I've sat with someone side by side in a lunch break or helped support a process that they've done. It's been an absolute honour to help, over 17 years, people turn their true power on. And along that journey, I've met a whole bunch of amazing people who, the reality is I don't have all the answers, of course, that would be ridiculous. But there's other people that have great passion and skills in other areas of turning people's power on. And they're the people I want to get on this show to help turn your power on. If we can help one person turn their true aligned power on, this journey is worth it. If one person hears something just slightly differently or does something differently and can have, more authenticity in their life, which is truly the highest vibration we can be at, being in our true authentic power. If they can, then that allows them to do more of what they love doing. The flow and effect of that is unbelievable, which would create more freedom and ultimately have them never need to work again. What a win. That's a win. Now, the opposite of that is when people are down on their power. And in their physical body, that could be they're actually just weak, they're stiff, they're sore, they're in pain, their posture's slumped, they don't have their presence, they're down on power. And that's just in their physical body. So in the realms of power, I've created a 12-spoked wheel, which is like a measurement or metric. I will have it attached in this first podcast somehow, where you can self-assess the 12 areas and find out where you are on your power wheel. And the rest of this podcast, I will be explaining what those 12 areas are. And in part 2 of this intro series, I will be running through how it can be used so you can turn your power on. After that, we will be going through with the interviews of people in different areas of those spokes on the wheel, of how they can improve and turn their tap on so your true aligned power is really, truly flowing. So let's get into it. The first spoke on the power wheel is your physical health. Now, your physical health in this 3D body is absolutely critical. It's not more or less important than the other wheels. It's just an important wheel. So to turn your true power on, you need to be in alignment. And that's why I've got alignment. It's such a key part. Being a chiropractor for 25 years, we've really seen the principle of how alignment is just so important. Being in alignment is just better than being out of alignment. And in your body, when you've broken your arm, the number one thing you need for it to heal properly is alignment. In your spine, if it's out of alignment, it affects the brain and nerve system. And we can't have that if you want to be turning your true power on. And I'm going to refer to that as TAP from now on. So TAP, once again, is true aligned power. So our physical body, turning your strength on is like going to the gym, going to Pilates. And in your physical body, it's also your ability to defend yourself. If you don't have any martial arts skills or any ability to defend yourself, and that's why some people end up carrying a weapon, you're not in your true power. You can be overpowered physically. Now, I'm not saying you all have to go out and get a gun or get a martial arts black belt, but look at, your power in the physical sense in terms of that realm. How can you defend yourself? How strong are you in this world physically? And your physical body also references your actual flexibility, your mobility. If you don't have your mobility in your physical body and you are reliant on other people, you are down on your power. So have a look at all of the facets in your physical body and see where you're at. And in our power wheel, we'd ask that you score that out of 10. 0 being for you, no physical body at all, and 10 being the absolute perfect body for you. Now, of course, to get that number, there's a lot of different areas in our physical body. So we're just looking for an average of the number that feels, where you are at. And of course, you might well compare yourself. If you compare yourself to someone at the nursing home, or if you compare yourself to an elite physical athlete in your sport, your score might reflect higher or lower. And you might be up or down on a different day as well. So really just look at the average of where you are at right now for you. And therefore, in future, we would like to look at, or how do we improve your score in that realm? And when we look at the physical body podcast, that might be an area that you go, wow, I'm a 6 out of 10. I'd like that to be an 8. How can we support that? Or what, personal trainer do you need? What Pilates class do you need to go to? What martial arts class? What archery club do you need to join? What is it that you need to get your score from where it is right now to where you want it to be? It's pretty simple, and that will turn your tap on in physical health. The next is chemical health. And I'd like to start off with oxygen, because we don't live very long without oxygen, and it's one of the least talked about in nutritional or chemical health. So breathing, breath work, deep breathing, meditative breathing. Breathing is life. Make sure that when you're scoring your score, you look at, well, how well oxygenated are you? The second one is hydration. How well hydrated are you? Our bodies are made up of water. There is so much in water. Water linked to the ether, links to, Matsumoto's studies on what you think about in your water becomes who you are. And so water is massive. So drinking good, clean, hydrating water is great for your cells. If I'm adjusting someone in their neck and trying to restore their alignment and they're dehydrated, I get them to think of a piece of beef jerky, which is dehydrated meat, and wondering if their muscles are like beef jerky. They turn their neck and so to me that water and hydration and air and oxygenation is more important even than nutrition. However, nutrition is absolutely important, and there are realms of power there that can make a phenomenal difference. So we'll be getting experts to talk about that. And of course, it's one of the biggest industries out there, of course, is the nutritional industry, followed closely by or probably bigger, of course, is the pharmaceutical and drug industry. And that realm of chemical power is a massive topic in and of itself. You're better off not taking any of the medications at all, if possible. And, my philosophy is try and get that as your long-term goal. Don't stop medications from listening to this podcast, but, have the intent that you want to be healthy in all those realms of power and get off any pharmaceutical medications, or take that another level, off any illicit substances. And or tobacco, alcohol are the two big ones that are still legal, but of course any other illicit substances which alter your chemistry can give you a false sense of power, probably better than anything. And turning a tap on is trusting your internal body chemistry, your hormones, your enzymes, your protein synthesis, all of the chemistry of your body, which will work way, way, way better if it's just natural and being, who you are. The third realm is emotional health. Wow, what a topic. Emotions on I don't want to say the good or the bad side, but of course we have guilt, we have shame, we have fear, we have anxiety, stress, anger. All of those emotions can massively affect our power, our tap. And if our emotions are running on those, we'll call them lower vibration emotions, we cannot be functioning as well as if we are in a state, emotional state of gratitude, authenticity, love, appreciation, calmness, joy, and that's easier said than done. They're just words on a podcast at the moment. But again, after so many years of working with people and seeing the manifestation of these emotions, it's a realm of power that if you can improve, takes you much closer to being more authentic, to doing what you love doing, to having ultimate freedom and never needing to work again. So let's look at emotional health and dive in deep in that realm of power as well. The fourth one is financial power. Now, that is a massive topic, and if you compare your current asset, income, cash flow position to someone who is uber wealthy, you might feel way down on that score. If you compare yourself to a homeless person or someone else in a different country that just doesn't have the basic things you have in in this country. I'm doing this podcast from Australia, which is a very lucky country. However, there are always challenges in every country. Where is your financial power at now? Where are your debts? Where are your commitments financially with a family? Where are your liabilities, the things you owe? Where are they right now? What is your power financially? If we talk about creating ultimate freedom, doing what you love doing, being authentic, are you in a work position or a job position that you truly love? That you are being yourself in, or are you just going there to pay the bills, pay the taxes? I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying you leave your job. I'm saying, you've got a short time here on the planet, here on this plane of existence, here in this realm. And I want you to be doing what you love doing with that time you've got. The amount of people I've seen over the years as a chiro, and because we're realigning their nervous system, they just get more in touch with their intuition. And they leave a job and they find what they love. It's happened so many times. It's amazing. Not many people would think of that with chiropractic. They think about sore backs and headaches. But they don't think of an improvement in their financial power because they can be more comfortable in their body and just do the job that they are doing better because they love it, or find a different path of, what am I doing this for? How can I get into something I love? I had a lady just the other day and she was just floating on cloud nine because she feels she's back in her body. She just made her decision, changed her path, and is so much happier. So financial health will definitely take a deep dive in. Number 5 is your heart power. So we all know there's something very special about our heart. Our heart is like our center. It creates an electrical toroidal field that we feel other people's hearts closely connected to love and life. And our heartbeat is a representation of how many heartbeats we have left, our time on the planet. Cardiovascular disease in Australia is certainly one of the top killers. And whether that's through nutrition, through stress, through genetics, through whatever, we know that if our heart gives out, we're out. They can do heart replacement surgery, and that's another whole realm of power in the spiritual world, what the implications of that are. But just our own heart, how well do we really look after it? How well do we, if we talk about it, love ourselves? What is our will? When we talk about some people that wear their heart on their sleeve, they seem really authentic, sometimes at the cost of themselves. Sometimes people have opened their heart and been hurt, and then they feel like they close off their heart to protect themselves. If you open your heart and become vulnerable, you need a strong sword, and you need to do that with the right person at the right time. Otherwise, you can open yourself to get very hurt. So the realm of power of our heart is a beautiful and interesting journey, and I'm looking forward to spending more time with you on that realm of power. So number 6 is the environmental power. Our environment is a topic of outside of our bodies. So our environment might be the environment of our house, the environment of our car, the environment of our workspace, the environment of our suburb, our city, our country, our realm, the environment of our sporting team that we play with, the environment of our handbag or our work bag, the environment of our bottom drawer in the kitchen, and the garage. So if you are living with clutter and deorganization, that will affect, drop down your environmental power. If you're living in pollution or in and around radiation or electrical signals from your Wi-Fi or mobile phone or a 5G tower, that can massively affect you. So environmental power, again, is a beautiful topic. And if you're scoring yourself on that wheel there, 0 is, obviously very, very bad. 10 is the ideal utopia, which I don't really believe anyone is in. And so wherever you score, just go, wow, yeah, my environment really needs some work, or hey, it's actually going really well. I'm super organized. I'm not obsessive compulsive. I'm just super organized in my environment. I'm living clean. I'm living with the environment of the world, and that might be with the environment of the flora and fauna in your area, the trees, the plants, the animals. And yeah, it's another massive topic. Number 7 is your spiritual power. Wow, what a topic here. Without diving into religion on this intro podcast, religion is a massive topic, but it's more than religion. For you, your spiritual power might well be your spirit, your soul. And I don't know what your religious beliefs are or spiritual beliefs are, but I do know that there are many things that we don't know about. And, there are some people that have studied their whole lives on spiritual power and soul contracts and our relationship with God, with or whatever the religion is that you might follow, Buddha, Islam, so many different religions, so many different beliefs, and beliefs can be very, very powerful. Spiritual power, in the world right now is massive and creates so many wars, so much division. Spiritual power can be used to create division in your church, in your community, in a conversation on a sporting field. Your spiritual beliefs can lead to a fight. So what's your spiritual power like right now? 0. And if you're an atheist and you don't believe in God, you still are going to have a spiritual power. It's going to be for you, whatever that means for you in terms of your beliefs around your spirit, why you're here, the consciousness of you. And it's a massive topic. And 10 is like you are totally at peace, in joy, enlightened, vibrating in a higher realm, and probably not in this 3D reality right now anyway. Number 8 then is your innate power. So your innate power is your inborn spark. The difference between you and a dead person on the ground, you still have a brain, you still have a heart, you still have skin, but you have that innate life spark. Whether that is electrical signals running over the nerve system, or however we choose that to be measured, that innate spark is the spark you don't really think about, but it is the thing that allows you to heal. It is the thing that runs the connection of all the cells, the organs, the tissues of your body without you thinking about it. If you had to consciously think about your innate capacity, you would be in big trouble. So that's the life spark, life force. And as a chiropractor, what I deal with is, of course, I believe that the brain and nerve system is where the life force is measured, if you like, and it runs over the brain and gets your body going. And if you are out of alignment in your spine, then some of that innate intelligence will not be able to function as it's desiring to. So restoring alignment allows the body to heal itself better. And so if you are misaligned, if you are not having that full spark of life, then your innate power is down. If you're in alignment, if you are allowing that spark of life to be functioning at its highest potential, you would score a lot higher in the innate health area. Number 9 is relationship power. And that's how we are relating to others. Well, and it might include our relationship with ourselves. If we don't love ourselves, if we beat ourselves up, if we are down on power that way, well, you're definitely not going to be, functioning at your best. The relationship might be with your primary partner, your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever that dynamic is, and that relationship power is massive. How it affects your life is huge. There's so much in our country. There's so much divorce, breakup, but there's still a lot of long-term relationships and short-term relationships where you feel euphoric. And so relationships and intimacy and your sexual power is a massive realm of power. That relationship might be with your children, and that's a different type of relationship, but equally as important. There's some parents that are estranged from their kids. There's some that have the best possible relationship with their kids. And those relationships, of course, then go to friends, extended family, work colleagues, acquaintances, people at the shop. How much power is in your relationships? And could it be better? How's your communication? Could it be better? Number 10 is your mental power. So that is your intelligence, your wit, your thoughts. Some people just overanalyze everything and get stuck in their head. It's different than emotional power. It's your ability to think things through. It's your calmness, your wit. It's just such a beautiful area of mental health. Are you meditating? What frequency is your brain at? Is it vibrating high and frantic, or is it really centered and calm? It's a beautiful place to think about mental health. Number 11 is your life purpose and power around what you are here to do. We talked about authenticity at the start. How clear are you on your purpose out of 10? Could you speak in front of 100 people for a while about what your actual purpose is, or do you have no direction? Do you wake up in the morning not knowing where you are, what you're wanting to do? Wow, what a topic that is. Life purpose and your power around it. Score that 1 out of 10 in your power wheel. The final one I have is political power. And political power, politics, of course, can be government, the government in the country you live in, the state you're in, the council you're in, the world you're in. They're talking about one world government, bodies like the UN and the WEF, who have power over most people. And then, of course, there's the police, which is the policy officers, the lawyers, the magistrates, the political power around that, and the society we live in. How's your power there? How much influence do you have on the way you are living your life? Are you free, or are you under their taxation laws, their laws? Now, of course, we don't want to be a rogue in the community, but where is your power politically? Now, politics might even go down to the sport club you're in, the politics of your sport club, the work politics. And politics is really under a bigger topic of leadership too. How much power do you have in your ability to lead? And if you are in your power, you would score very high there. You might be in your power, but still under the management, if you like, of the politics of your society. So I've given a good summary there of the 10, 12 realms of power with a score out of 10 in each. Add them up and see where you're at. I'm looking forward to our next podcast, which we'll be sharing, what do you do with this? How do you do this? How does this help you turn your tap on? You might have heard the saying, you need to reveal to heal. So reveal where you're at in that circle of power, the power wheel. Have you got some bumps? Can you have it all? Are you comparing to others, or are you just looking at where you're at? This can improve, my friends. This can improve. My story is, after 25 years or longer really, 25 years of working with people, turning their power on, I have helped so many people step into an area of their power, and I would like to help you too. I feel so blessed with my power, with what I've been able to achieve, where I've come from, and what I'm here to do. And I feel I am living a life on purpose, turning your power on, turning your tap on. And one of my number one principles is having fun. So I hope to have fun with you on this journey. And I really appreciate you taking the time. And maybe something that you listen to helps someone else turn their power on. Have an awesome, awesome day. See ya.